I don't want you here, Sophie. You're an embarrassment. My father said that, into a microphone. In front of 72 guests. At his retirement dinner, and then, he pointed to the exit, before you hear what my husband did with that envelope. Take a second, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share this with someone who's ever been underestimated. Now, back to the moment that ruined me. Everyone was clapping for Dad. He had just finished giving a speech about legacy. About how proud he was of his children. But when it came to me, he paused. Smirked. And said, some people in this family waste potential. They chase stupid dreams and end up with nothing. I felt everyone's eyes dart toward me. My sister Julia giggled. My mother just sipped her wine. And I sat there, heart pounding in my ears, trying to keep the tears back. He called me out without saying my name, and that made it even worse, because everyone knew. They all thought I failed, dropped out of law school. Opened a cute little business they believed had crashed. No one knew the truth, because I never let anyone close enough to see it. But what my father did next? That crossed every line. He walked over to my table, tapped his glass, and said, Sophie, it's time for you to leave. Tonight is about real success. Laughter. Real laughter. From family. From old friends, and in that moment, something in me snapped. I stood up. My husband, Ethan, reached into his coat pocket slowly, calmly, and handed me the envelope. It was thick. Heavy. Sealed with a gold sticker. My father frowned. What's this supposed to be? Another one of your failed ideas? He mocked, but Ethan didn't flinch. He just said one sentence, calm, cold, and terrifying. Open it. In front of everyone. And that's when the real silence hit the room. My father tore open the envelope with a sarcastic smirk, like he was ready to humiliate me again. But the moment he pulled out the first page, his hands froze. His lips parted. And then, his face turned pale. He tried to keep reading, but his eyes darted around like he was searching for an escape. 1 second ago, he was the king of the night. Now? He looked like he'd seen a ghost. What is this? He stuttered. I took a step forward. My voice didn't shake anymore. It's the acquisition papers, Dad. Your retirement gift? That company you praised for 20 minutes. In your speech, Horizon Logistics? The one you called a goldmine for the future? It's mine now. The room went dead silent. Julia dropped her champagne glass. My mom choked on her drink. Ethan slid the second document across the table. Here's the full ownership transfer. Sophie's company bought it out last week. Quietly. Fully legal. Fully binding. My father looked down at the signatures, mine, the former CEO's, and his own. From a deal he helped broker, not knowing who was behind it. You bought it, he whispered, like it physically hurt to say it. Correction, I said, steady and calm. I built the company that bought it. The one you all called a side hustle. The one you mocked when I left law school. Julia finally snapped, wait, so you're rich now? Like, actually rich? I turned to her. I didn't come here to brag, Julia. I came because even after everything, part of me hoped he'd be proud. But clearly, that's not in his nature. You could feel the power in the room shift. Just minutes ago, I was the disgrace. The dropout. The disappointment. But now? They looked at me like they didn't know who I was, and then Ethan stood up. He pulled out his phone, tapped a few buttons, and cast a live feed onto the projector. It was a sleek, high-rise building. Our new headquarters, and on top, a glowing sign. Sophie Grace Enterprises. Gasps filled the room, and just as people were starting to process it, Ethan added one more thing. Also, that scholarship fund your dad promised to sponsor for underprivileged students? He paused. Looked directly at my father. She's been funding it. Quietly. For 3 years. In your name. Now the whole room turned on him. You never told us she was the donor. I thought you hated her. All this time you let us mock her? My father looked like he might collapse, and then he said something no one saw coming. Get out. All of you. The room exploded in confused whispers. Wait, is he serious? Is he kicking us out now? What's wrong with him? But my father's voice cut through the noise. Get out of my house. Every last one of you. And you, he pointed at me, you think money can buy respect? You'll always be the same naive girl who gave up her future. I didn't flinch this time. I looked him in the eyes and said, you're right. I gave up your version of a future. And built my own. The silence that followed wasn't awkward, it was charged. People started leaving, slowly at first. Then more confidently. Some shook my hand on the way out. Some hugged me, ashamed. Julia stormed out without a word. My mom couldn't even look at me, but Ethan stayed close. Grounded. Like always, and that's when the real twist unfolded. As we turned to leave, an elderly man approached from the corner. Gray hair, sharp suit, eyes full of recognition. "You're Sophie Grace?" he asked. I nodded cautiously. He extended a hand. "William Kent. I'm on the board at Horizon. I didn't know you were the buyer." I shook his hand slowly. "That was intentional." He leaned in slightly. "I watched how you handled yourself tonight. Calm. Calculated. Class. Would you consider joining our corporate advisory council? Horizon could use more leaders like you." Ethan gave me a stunned look. My heart was racing, but I stayed composed. "Let's talk this week." As we walked out the door, my father shouted one last time, bitter, broken, "You'll regret this, Sophie. Family is everything." I turned back just once. "Then maybe you should have treated yours like something worth keeping." We stepped into the night air. The wind was cool, but I felt warm. Ethan took my hand. "You okay?" I nodded. "Better than okay." But the storm wasn't over, because back at the house, Julia wasn't done. While everyone had been focused on me, she'd been recording. Secretly, and now? She was editing a video titled, "My Sister Ruined Our Father's Retirement," and bragged about her money, and she was about to hit upload. The next morning, my phone wouldn't stop vibrating, dozens of missed calls. Hundreds of notifications. I clicked on one of the links. Ethan texted me with a single message, "You need to see this." There it was. Julia's video, already at 394,000 views. The thumbnail showed my father mid-shout, my face edited to look smug, and the title in bold red letters, "My spoiled sister hijacked our dad's retirement. You won't believe what she said." She had twisted everything. Cropped the audio. Made it look like I ambushed the dinner, bragged about my wealth, and humiliated our father for attention. I watched it, stunned. She didn't just attack my character, she framed me as a villain. To millions, comments flooded in, "What a disgusting show-off. Typical spoiled brat pretending to be self-made. Her poor father." I felt sick. Ethan sat beside me, fists clenched. "She's weaponizing public sympathy. People eat this stuff up without context." But I wasn't angry. Not anymore. I was done defending myself in whispers. So I called my media team. That's right, while my family thought I ran a side hustle, I'd built a powerhouse. I owned multiple brands, including a PR agency. And within 2 hours, we had a plan. A simple post. A calm video response. No drama. Just facts. I sat down, looked into the camera, and spoke directly to the world. "Hi. I'm Sophie Grace. The woman in that video. And I'd like to tell you what really happened." Then I showed everything, the full dinner speech, the envelope, the documents, the scholarships, even a clip of my father asking me to leave. I ended it with one sentence: "I never wanted revenge. I just wanted to be respected." Even quietly. But now? Silence. Feels like betrayal. We uploaded it. Then waited, and within 6 hours? It went viral. 3.4 million views. The comments turned like a tide. "Wait, she's the one funding the scholarships. Her family is awful. I'd have walked out years ago. Sophie, you're incredible. Thank you for standing up." Even major news pages started picking it up. "Daughter buys father's company in silent power move, the ultimate clapback. How one woman rewrote her legacy." But just as the praise started to lift me, I got a call. The blocked number. I answered. And heard a cold, familiar voice. "I hope you're enjoying your 15 minutes. Because you just made enemies in very powerful places." Click. It was my father, and he wasn't done with me yet. 3 days later, I received a court summons. My father had filed a defamation lawsuit against me, accusing me of public character assassination and damaging his legacy and emotional well-being. It was laughable, but dangerous, because behind the scenes, my father still had powerful connections. Old-school businessmen. Lawyers who owed him favors. And he was clearly ready to burn everything, just to make sure I paid the price for outshining him. My media team panicked. "Negative press can scare investors." One said, "This could damage your brand." Another warned, but Ethan, calm as ever, said, "What if this is the final step, Sophie? The one that sets you free completely?" So I made a choice. We didn't just fight the lawsuit. We fought it publicly. My legal team released a timeline of my father's pattern of control, manipulation, and emotional abuse. Old colleagues, former employees, even distant family, began coming forward, sharing their own horror stories. Turns out, I wasn't the only one he tried to silence, and then came the final blow. I released a clip I'd never intended to share. A video Ethan had recorded at the dinner, not for social media, but just to remember the night. It clearly showed my father's speech, word for word, the insults, the mockery, the command to leave, and the audience laughing with him. The caption, "This is what legacy looked like, until I changed it." It shattered everything. Within hours, the lawsuit was dropped. The court cited it as meritless and retaliatory. But more importantly, the world chose my side. Brand deals increased, investors doubled down. I got invited to speak at 2 universities and a women's leadership summit, and my family? Julia deleted her video. My mother sent a cold, 2-line email, "We didn't know. We're sorry." And my father, he never called again. But 1 week later, a letter arrived. No return address, just one sentence, handwritten, "I never expected you'd win. I'm starting to think you were always stronger than me." I didn't cry. I didn't smile. I simply folded the letter, slid it into a drawer, and closed it forever, because the truth is, I didn't win to prove him wrong. I won because I stopped needing his approval. I stopped chasing the people who only loved me when I was quiet, and now? I build louder, because some daughters aren't born to obey. They're born to rise.